Ah, yes. It's that time again. Your timeline's being filled with Wolfie Glick montages.
But it wasn't enough!
Which can only mean one thing. It's VGC season, baby. And, by proxy, it's time for EUIC. For those not in the know, the Pokemon European International Championships, or EUIC for short, is one of the largest competitive Pokemon events of the year. Players gather for those all-exclusive qualification points, I think. And fans, well, we all gather to spend our hard-earned money in one fell swoop. And this year, I was lucky enough to not really have the time to visit for the weekend. But I was a man on a mission. So please join me on my adventure to London town, where I got the chance to live, breathe, and wait. Everything Pokemon for 24 hours. A journey filled with shiny hunting, brand new experiences, and ultimately just trying to find a new friend for my good pal Gojo over here. And, as always, it starts with a series of very poorly timed events as you catch me packing my bags a mere hour and a half before we have to check in for our flights. See? Remember that slightly enormous 35-minute video I uploaded just before this? Well, it was due to drop the same weekend Lex and I were at EUIC. So, the stinky procrastinating goblin that lives in my 2 brain cells left everything to the last minute. Thankfully, we somehow got everything uploaded in time and even managed to leave without forgetting anything. Thank you, Aaron. And yet, despite spending the last 50 hours of my life dedicated to editing footage of me finding different colored creatures, turns out I wasn't sick of the different colored pixels yet. So I bust out my slightly worse for wear DS for some good old Ruby and Sapphire starter resets. Fun fact, I actually started during last year's EUIC. I still haven't found it. To be honest with you, I wanted to get some more footage of us leaving Belfast, but in all honesty, the guy next to us on the plane wasn't massively happy about us recording, and to be fair to him, it was 7 AM, so out of respect for him, enjoy this zoomed in footage of the airport. I spent the entire flight soft resetting for Mudkip with no luck, so in all honesty, you really didn't miss much. Now, you would think like rational people, we'd want to get back to the hotel and relax after landing. Maybe get some quality sleep, especially after my mad editing bender, but no. See, we landed here, and our hotel is all the way over there. So, like sane people, we decided to make the most out of our day, and Lex and I went straight for the exhibit of really fast rotom mowers. Conveniently, this was actually held at the same venue as EUIC this year, so we were so close, yet so far. Now, I know the real reason you little Luke Goblins clicked on this video, so trust me, I won't bore you with the really cool fast car museum, but if you'll indulge me for just a brief second, I'm an electromechanical engineering student, and being able to get this close to the cutting edge of our industry was ultimately so freaking cool. The event was only around for about another month after this, so getting to see it while it was here, especially considering the little rock that I come from, was honestly such a sick experience and one I'll carry with me for forever. Also, here's Sonic for some reason. Anyway, nerdy hobby aside, let's get into the real nerdy hobby that you guys clicked on the video for. It's Pokemon time, and to be honest, the first thing that hit me was purely the sheer amount of people who were already here. This wasn't even the first day of the event, and there were already this many people here for the opening ceremony. Lex and I finally managed to plonk ourselves down for the first time all day, keeping in mind it's 4 PM at this point, and managed to caffeinate ourselves as we had a mission to complete: the Pokemon Center. Now, in previous years, we have arrived on the Saturday, meaning there was little to no competition getting in, but this time, as the only thing people were really here for before the event were socializing and the Pokemon Center, things were a tad bit more chaotic. Even with our dedicated time slot, there was still over an hour wait just to queue up to get into the store itself, which in all honesty really isn't that bad, but considering at this point we were pretty much walking talking zombies, we definitely will not be making this mistake again. Once inside, Lex and I had a mission. See, we weren't shopping for ourselves, we were shopping for glory. Who could pick out the best merch for our awesome mod team? Team K-Brook, Lexi, and for Team Waddles was me. With a £150 spending limit, we had a goal: cram as much awesome Pokemon Center loot into our tiny little travel bags as humanly possible. My mod team does so much for me throughout the year, between organizing events, keeping streams running smoothly, and in all honesty, just being fantastic people. So having the opportunity to be able to do something cool like this and grabbing exclusive Pokemon Center goodies for them honestly was just freaking awesome. We didn't manage to grab much footage in the shop this time around because, well, we were zombies. But don't worry, I still have my little mission to wrap up before this weekend's through. And also let us know who you think won, Lex or me. After trekking halfway across London over a McDonald's just to find out that there was actually one right next to our hotel, it was nap time, and just like that, it was time for the main event. This isn't my first EUIC, but despite that, I was just as blown away as I was before. There were over 5,000 competitors there this year and tens of thousands of fans, and yet amongst the crowd, I still managed to find him. Outside of the main competition area, there were a ton of little side events for us to check out, which was a good thing because the friends who we were actually traveling with managed to sleep in and ultimately missed their bus. Despite that, these side events were legitimately freaking awesome, and it was also great to get the chance to meet some of you guys from my little corner of the internet. One of the coolest events by far had to be the TCG Presents panel, where some of the Pokemon card artists actually talked about their journey into the industry and ultimately their passion for the craft. Also, massive shout out to this tiny little face painting stall hidden away in the corner because they did a freaking amazing job with this face paint for Lexi. Also, she approved. Besides browsing past the winners trophies and spotting a few fellow content creators who I wanted to say hi to, Lex and I honestly spent most of the event just taking it all in and chatting with a lot of you guys. So, because of that, we didn't actually capture a ton of footage, but just know we were busy absorbing every single moment we could of the event. And to be honest, Saturday was mostly spent sightseeing and in general just enjoying time as a couple. To be honest with you guys, this year's been a little rough already. Between almost losing my YouTube channel to crypto hackers, actually losing my Discord to crypto hackers, and final year uni stress, all on top of trying to keep my social media platforms afloat, it's been a lot. So this was very much so a holiday first and a Pokemon trip second. But despite that, we loved absolutely every second of it. By far, one of the coolest non-Pokemon things Lexi wanted me to share with you guys was the fact that she actually got to spot a Mandarin duck. These are a species native to only Asia, and she, in all honesty, thought you would never get the chance to see one of these in person. So for her, this is like her own nerdy nature little version of finding a shiny Pokemon. So that was a super awesome thing to be able to experience together. And we also had ramen with some friends for the first ever time. Besides me being an uncoordinated, uncultured swine with chopsticks, it was actually an unbelievable experience, especially for somebody who's as picky of an eater as I am. And somehow, just like that, Sunday was already upon us. But I still had one more mission left to complete, and the day started off really strong as we managed to actually spot a real-life Cormorant and Bombardier just outside of our hotel while leaving for the train station. But before we could head home, we had one last trip to the Pokemon Center. Up to this point, we hadn't actually really bought all that much for ourselves yet, and we still had plenty of room left in our bags, which meant I had plenty more money to surrender to Pokemon. So now was the time to find Gojo a friend. In hindsight, this might have been a mistake. We managed to pick up some awesome new sleepwear for Lexi, some one-size-fit-all Gen 4 starter socks that, spoiler alert, were not in fact one size fit all, and browsed a bit more without having the panic of getting back to the hotel and managed to sleep. So we just kind of enjoyed our time in here. But just then, as we were getting ready to check out, my eyes caught something special. The Comfy Friends plushies are absolutely freaking adorable and very expensive. So despite me eyeing this Piplup for forever, ultimately I haven't been able to justify picking it up until I locked eyes with her. The possible moodiest looking Piplup plushie left on the shelf. In reality, it was probably just a miscut in the fabric, as all the other Piplups on the shelf look perfectly fine. But something primal in me knew I just had to take this little runt home. Even though at this point we barely had any spaces left in our bag, I did not think twice about my actions. She's by far the goofiest plush that I own, and in all honesty, by far one of my favorites. I mean, just look at how mad she looks. So, with our mission complete, ultimately we had to say goodbye to our friends and made the long journey back to Belfast, with a weekend ultimately filled with unforgettable memories and bags full of goodies for the people who I truly appreciate the most. So, when we got home, I was showing off all of the awesome loot that we got on stream with you guys, as we had to name our newest Piplup recruit. In tradition, we name every single new addition to our little army, and chat ultimately settled on Nessa. But during the exact moment that we finalized the name, a very special moment of the shiny living decks happened to occur. Her home. Powerful, ambitious mother. Ah, there we go. King of Ulster. There you are, champ. Oh my lord! We can move on, we're free! Thank you all so much for watching this video the whole way through. I hope I managed to convey just how awesome these events really can be. Not just for Pokemon, but for fandoms all around the world. Let me know in the comments, have I convinced you to come next year? If so, I would be over the moon to meet some of you guys there. This is a very different video to our usual style of content, but I hope regardless, you've enjoyed it. If you've gotten this far, you've probably enjoyed listening to me yap, so maybe consider dropping a quick sub and checking out my Twitch, where I spend easily over 20 plus hours a week yapping away to you guys, all while shiny hunting. Speaking of which, part 1 of our shiny living deck series is already on screen. It's 30 minutes of non-stop action-packed shiny hunting, and I'm sure you will really love it. Thank you all again so much for hanging out today, and I can't wait to see you guys all next for a very special springtime themed hunt. Until next time, guys, I'll see you all on the flip side. Bye for now.